got your microphone connected to it?
This is
Okay.
me.
Y'all got everything you need? Okay. All right. We'll get started. Good afternoon. My name is Jimmy Petronis. I'm the state of Florida's Chief Financial Officer, State Fire Marshal, but I'm also native of Bay County. Thank y'all all for being here. Special thanks to Sheriff Tommy Ford, County Manager Bob Micah, Commissioner Tommy Ham, and the rest of the Bay County Commission for all being here today. I want to thank Governor DeSantis. Immediately, once the storm had basically crossed through its first impact, the governor issued a emergency declaration. This will speed up payment processing resources. That was for 49 counties in the state of Florida, but affected areas of Bay and Jackson County also, where it will be most appreciated. But this will help streamline the recovery effort. This was a big wind event. We saw damage firsthand this morning as we drove over from I-10. 18-wheelers turned over due to the wind gusts. And as this storm is still affecting parts of the state, we just encourage everybody to please listen and heed the warnings of your local elected officials. Calls today with Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie and also Insurance Commissioner Mike Jaworski, and also with numerous insurance carriers, making sure loud and clear that the carriers know this is their time to shine. This is their time to lean forward. As we're going to see insurance claims that will be a side effect of this storm. The carrier is going to be very proactive reaching out. So you should be getting phone calls, emails, text messages from your carriers when it comes to the claims process. Matter of fact, I even encourage people, if you've got any damage, go ahead and call your carrier, your insurance agent, or you can call my office at 1-877-MY-FL-CFO in order to try to start and expedite the insurance claims process. We're going to see both home and auto damage from this. We had some hail also from the storm, so we're anticipating there will be some damage from that. But people have paid their premiums, and we want to make sure that the claims are handled in a swift manner and get them processed as soon as possible. Again, the phone number is 1-877-MY-FL-CFO. That's for our state's Consumer Services Help Hotline. And look, any questions, your safest place, call us. Call your insurance agent, call your carrier. You'll see from times like this that there could be contractors that come in from out of market. Please err on the side of caution. Don't sign anything. Only work with contractors that you have maybe a personal relationship with or that you can get a good reference from locally. Sometimes when you have out-of-state contractors that come into the market to try to provide disaster assistance, sometimes you may not necessarily get what you thought you were going to get. So at least if you take that precaution, don't take the bait, get some local references, you stand a chance of making sure that you don't get hurt. So please don't fall for some of these tactics. And like I said, the best place to not be a victim of fraud is just don't fall for it in the first place. Here in the next several days, we will have our DFAST teams, that's our Department of Insurance Fraud Investigative Units, that will be combing through the area to help support Sheriff Ford and his folks to make sure that we're doing everything possible to make sure that the bad actors aren't taking advantage of this process. But as this storm event is still moving through the state, again, very appreciative of Governor DeSantis and Kevin Guthrie leaning forward with this. We've already had dialogues also with members of Congress to see if we do need to have a disaster declaration from FEMA and the administration if we hit those thresholds. But as we're going to see more and more damage, there's going to be as far as the I-4 corridor. Please just heed those warnings. Power's out. FP&L's working around the clock. I've heard that there's several thousand those without power. Please make time, space, be respectful of our linemen and our law enforcement and first responders and the job that they're doing. Some of you may decide to go ahead, if you're out of power, to go ahead and operate a generator. Please understand that a generator is never allowed to operate inside your house, inside your garage. Those are going to be a carbon monoxide threat to you and your family. If you're going to operate a generator, please do it outside, well-ventilated area. And you want to make sure that you don't run it for hours on time. Run it for a couple hours, let it cool. Make sure that you don't overheat it. You don't want to create a fire hazard, any type of challenge with this. But again, I've got full faith FP&L and the co-ops in the area will be working around the clock also with those areas that are affected by Duke Energy to get the powers restored. But again, please respect our law enforcement officers. Look, this is my hometown, but I know that we're pretty good at recovery. As long as Bob Micah's still here, I feel like the recovery that we will have here in Bay County is in good hands. Sheriff Ford has not caught a break since he's been sheriff of our county, so appreciate all his men and women and how they work around the clock. I'm very fortunate. We've got good leadership in Tallahassee. Griff Griffiths today is the opening state of state, the Florida Legislative Sessions meeting. We've been in multiple dialogues with both Senator Jay Trumbull and Griff Griffiths. So Representative Griffiths is here to join us. And please, Griff, come up and be supportive of what we do in Tallahassee. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jimmy. Just like to echo some of Jimmy's words that the state is here to be responsive. Myself, just a freshman legislator, got calls from Insurance Commissioner Yarkowski this morning, as well as officials in emergency management to let us know that they're responding and ready to go. This team behind you, I wouldn't put anybody in a better position to work through a disaster than this team right here. I've seen them in action before and know that Bay County is in good hands with this team supporting them. While this is a small and isolated incident, it's not anything like we faced during Hurricane Michael. It's still very devastating to those citizens who are facing these problems today. So my office is always open. Please, if you have any troubles with any type of problems, reach out to our office at the 3rd floor of the Government Center. Let us know if it's a state official, a problem that a state official can handle, and we will reach out to that agency and do what we can to facilitate that and expedite those problems. We're looking forward to getting this thing behind us and put it in another chapter in our book of Bay County. We are well versed in dealing with problems, well versed, and this is the team behind you that will do a great job in recovery. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Tommy Ford, and if there is a stronger, more resilient county in this whole country, I can't imagine where it would be than Bay County. We've been through a lot in the last 5 years, from hurricanes to wildfires to now tornadoes, and each time we get stronger and more resilient. And I couldn't be more thankful for this team behind me from our state level, county level, municipal, cities, city police chiefs, fire departments, for the way they always come together and fight for this county and do amazing things. We had a series of tornadoes that struck our county very hard this morning, and first responders went into action. There were people that were trapped in structures, deputy sheriffs, police officers, fire department, EMS, emergency management, all out there saving lives. At this point, we don't think that there were any lives lost during this storm. There were certainly some serious injuries and some pretty catastrophic damage in certain areas. We were very fortunate that the damage wasn't more widespread. I think our biggest areas of damage is here in the Grand Lagoon area, and we also have some significant damage off of 2301 in the Bayhead area. But we've got deputies out in those areas. We have conducted a primary and a secondary search of these areas, primarily led by fire and deputies and officers from our municipalities to make sure that nobody is in these structures that still needs help. And so now we're in a security mode. The power companies are here working hard to get, and Roads and Bridges is here to help clear the roadways. And the sheriff's office is also in a security mode. And sometimes in these situations, there are people who are tempted to think that they can come into an area and conduct criminal activity and looting. And we will not tolerate that at all. We're going to have plenty of deputy sheriffs out here protecting our community. We've worked with the county manager's office and Chairman Ham to institute a curfew in the Grand Lagoon area, and that will be from 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. In the area south of the Grand Lagoon Bridge, east of Hurt Street off of Thomas Drive to the State Park. So if you look on the map, you'll see this pocket of the primary damage that we've seen. We'll have a curfew in place again from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. until further notice. We will try to, as the recovery continues, try to shrink that area down. But anybody that's, no one should be moving around outside of their homes in those areas at night. We'll have plenty of deputies out here to enforce that and to keep people safe. But again, best team in the world I could ask for at the sheriff's office as well as at the county, state, and municipal level, and want to just thank them for all their hard work. Thank you.
Thank you. Just want to I guess here we are again with more damage to Bay County. But we want to thank Governor DeSantis and our own Jimmy Petronas for their continued commitment to our area. They've always proven to be strong leaders for us and advocates for us when we are probably prone to needing the help the most. Also, we always want to thank our sheriff and the first responders for their jobs they did early this morning in the twilight hours. They're still on the job doing what they do best. And so and please, the curfew that the sheriff just mentioned, please heed that, because that is going to be a serious thing. Not to be out there in the curfew during these hours. It's hindering the rebuild for those people that were affected the hardest. We've had heavily damaged areas, mainly here, as the sheriff said, here in Grand Lagoon and on Thomas Drive, but we've also seen it up in Bayhead, Risotto Beach Road, and we've had some in St. Andrews and Panama City. Fortunately, so far, we haven't had any fatalities with this event. I believe the hospitals are reporting about five injuries that were transported to there for medical services, so we wish them all the best. And if anyone needs assistance, we're thinking there's somewhere around 100 people maybe that have been displaced by this event. So if you are in need of any assistance, you please call the American Red Cross at 1-800-RED-CROSS. That's 1-800-RED-CROSS, or United Way at 211. Or you can call United Way at 211. The county also has a disaster information center available at 850-248-6090. That's 850-248-6090. And once again, we're just reaching out, thanking the responders, the first responders for, they come running when everybody else is trying to leave. So we are very thankful for them being here. And we're also thankful for the relationship that I have with all these people behind us. We are friends, and that plays to the advantage when things like that happen. So we're so grateful to have that in our area. Some places are not as blessed as we are. And with that, I think I'll turn it over to our county manager, Bob Micah, and can fill you in some more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So also, I'd like to begin by thanking Governor DeSantis and his staff for his continued support of us here in Bay County. One of the first acts that the governor took after he was elected was to visit Bay County post-Hurricane Michael. He was here on the ground to help us initiate our recovery process. And true to form this morning, we were one of the first phone calls that he made. He and I had a conversation very early this morning as he was preparing to give his State of the State address over in Tallahassee. So it's very nice to know that we continue to be front of mind with the governor and his staff, and we look forward to continuing conversations with him. He pledged full faith and support of the state of Florida and any assets that we may need to help recover and to continue to recover here in Bay County. We've completed a preliminary damage assessment in all the areas that you heard previously mentioned out here in the Grand Lagoon area, as well as up in Bayhead. We've gotten into the Callaway area. We've got some reports on some damage over in that part of town, city of Panama City as well. As of this time, we cannot assign a dollar figure to the damage that's been caused by this event. We will utilize the information gathered from this damage assessment. We'll forward that to Tallahassee. That will help trigger an official assessment from their teams that will come in. Also very important is Dan Sal, the county property appraiser. His staff is engaged. They are also out here on the ground helping us and getting an assessment done that will allow us to help try to put some dollars and cents to what's occurred. We request anyone that has property damage to reach out to our Citizen Information Center. We've stood that up. That number is 850-248-6090, or you can email us at ask@baycountyfl.gov. Reporting this damage will help us identify the impact of the event. It'll also help us in our conversations with the state of Florida, FEMA, all the way up to the president if we're successful in gaining support for some type of federal declaration of this event. As of 1 p.m., we still had a reported 1,400 households in Bay County without power. We're currently working on a local state of emergency that's being drafted. The chairman will execute that shortly thereafter. Within that local state of emergency contains what you heard earlier mentioned by the sheriff, which is that curfew, which will be from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the Grand Lagoon area from Hurt Street eastward to the state park. Again, we just ask you to heed that for your own personal safety. A lot of debris, a lot of damage in that area. The power companies will be out and about working. We still may have some first responders that need to work in that area. Typically, what happens post-disaster like this, as you heard earlier, we were very fortunate that we had 5 injuries that we've been able to identify to this point. No fatalities, no missing individuals. But typically with disasters, where we see most of our injuries occur is in this recovery phase, as people are getting out there into the community and trying to get their homes and their businesses back. So please just be safe. Work during daylight hours and heed those curfews as long as they're in place. We also request that people stay out of affected areas as we continue the recovery process. So if you don't own a home, own property, or own a business in that area, we'd ask you at this point in time to stay out. Let the first responders do their job. Let these homeowners and business owners get in there and do what they need to do. There'll be plenty of time in the next couple of days to begin interacting with those folks and getting in there to help them out. So with that, I turn it over back to you.
Thank y'all all for being here. It's important to note when it comes to the insurance claims process, whatever photos you may have prior to the storm, it's always nice to have a photo inventory, because you think about it, as you're going to start an insurance claim, your adjuster will come out from the carrier and they're going to want to assess what damage was caused by the storm. So whatever photographic evidence you have of what your home looked like previous storm is going to help for a real cut and dry claims process. So you can definitely see what the storm caused and what was pre-existing or did not have any damage from the storm. So that will help speed up the claim process. Not everybody has this photographic video of their home, but hopefully if anything that you have, that is something you need to be prepared to share with your adjuster in order to help show what type of damage was caused directly by the tornadic events we had today. But we'll happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
You said that you were planning on enacting a local state of emergency. Is there an estimated time frame on how long that will take place?
Yeah, so those states of emergency typically last under Florida statute for 7 days. If we need to extend that state of emergency, then of course we'll ask the county commission to do that.
And with the governor's state of emergency, it's usually pretty much if the county still feels like they have needs that are not being addressed, the governor's office is usually pretty understanding and making sure that state of emergency is extended for whatever needs that the county may have.
And I know this was largely a wind event, but have any flood damages, water damages been reported as well?
Nothing that I have seen directly. I don't know if
Nothing significant this time.
yeah, the sheriff's been and his team have been combing the areas. Definitely seen some wind damage, a lot of tornadic activity, a lot of roofs being ripped off of people's homes. It's unfortunate, but it's not if it's when these storm events take place, and that's why it's just so important they heed the advisement when it comes time to these weather activities to hunker down, be in a safe place. So anyway, now it's the recovery process, the importance of heeding those curfew times and allowing those first responders and linemen to do their job, and then we'll roll in with the insurance resources.
What is your message for residents? Is there anything that they need to know?
Again, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. For those that have got downed trees at their house, you may be approached at your doorstep by somebody that wants to do tree trimming. Just know if you give any cash across your doorstep, you might as well be setting it on fire. There's going to be no claims reimbursement for any transactions that you make that you can't document that purchase. So again, as long as your first call is to my office, your insurance agent, or your insurance carrier, there's almost no way you can be harmed in the claims process. When you conduct activities, transactions outside of the insurance claims process, you might be in a predicament where you're not going to get reimbursed for your expenses. So again, make that first claim. A lot of the insurance companies will allow you to start the claims process online. If you have automobile damage, a lot of those can be facilitated right from the phone app. Geico, State Farm, Allstate, Progressive, they all have claims action processing apps where you can take photos, process it, and do it all remotely. So the technology's there, but please reach out to your carrier if you have damage. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. Y'all just please stay in touch with Valerie for any further updates that we may have coming out, and we'll continue to push things out via email and through social media. But thank y'all for providing this opportunity to address this.
Thank you.
Thank you.